My dear friends, life is not just about the breaths we take, but the directions we decide to walk in. Every crossroad we face, every choice we make carries the power to shape the person we are becoming. It is not the circumstances, but the decisions within those circumstances that carve our destinies, that carve our destiny. You and I are not merely products of chance, we are products of choice, and the path we choose today defines who we are tomorrow. When we look at life, one thing becomes very clear. Who we are is not just the name written on our certificates, not just the job title we carry, and not just the possessions we have accumulated. Who we truly are is the sum of the paths we have walked. Every step, every turn, every direction we choose silently but powerfully shapes our identity. It is easy to say, I want to be a good person, or I want to achieve greatness. But words alone do not define us. Our path does not. Imagine two people standing at the same crossroad in life. Both are given equal opportunities. One chooses a path of honesty, integrity, and hard work. The other chooses shortcuts, compromises, and convenience. They may start at the same point, but after some years, they are no longer the same person. One carries dignity, respect, and inner peace. The other may carry wealth, but also guilt, insecurity, or regret. You see, it's not just the destination that matters. The path itself molds the person walking it. Often, we think our identity is created by how others see us, but in reality, it is created by the quiet choices we make when no one is watching. When a student decides whether to study sincerely or to copy in an exam, that decision is shaping their identity. When a business person decides whether to earn profit fairly or by exploiting others, that decision is shaping their identity. Every small act is like a brick, and together those bricks build the structure of who we are. Sometimes people feel lost because they think life has not given them enough chances. But identity is not built by chances. It is built by choices. A poor man who walks the path of dignity and hard work may be richer in character than a wealthy man who walks the path of arrogance and selfishness. The dignity, courage, and compassion you cultivate on your chosen path become your real wealth. A wealth that cannot be stolen or destroyed, or even in difficult times. The path we choose defines us. When challenges strike, we can either choose the path of blame, anger, and despair, or we can choose the path of patience, faith, and resilience. And those choices, made in the toughest seasons of our lives, reveal more about our identity than any success ever can. Hardship exposes the truth of who we are. Think of a river. It is not defined by where it starts, but by the path it carves through the land. Sometimes it flows through rocks, sometimes through valleys, sometimes through deserts. But at every stage, it is the path that gives the river its identity. In the same way, your life is not simply about the starting point you were born into, but about the path you choose to walk with every single decision. And here lies the beauty. We always have a choice. No matter where we are right now, we can pause, reflect, and redirect our steps. The path we walked yesterday may not have been the best, but today gives us the chance to choose better. With every step on the right path, our identity begins to change, our character begins to shine, and our life begins to align with who we truly want to be. In life, we often hear people say, if only I had the right chance, I would have done something great. Some wait for luck, some wait for opportunity, and some even wait for miracles. But the truth is, chances alone don't make anyone successful or fulfilled. What truly makes the difference is the choices we make when those chances come. You see, life presents opportunities to everyone, but not everyone chooses wisely. Think of two students who are given the same chance to study in a good school. One decides to dedicate time, effort, and focus to learning, while the other decides to waste hours in distraction and carelessness. The chance was the same, but the choices made the difference. Years later, the first one may become an inspiring leader or professional, while the other may regret the time lost. So it is not the chance that mattered, it was the choice that shaped their life. Many times we also think that life is unfair, that others are luckier, richer, or more privileged. But history shows us countless examples of people who started with almost nothing, yet their choices made them extraordinary. A person born in poverty may choose education over excuses, hard work over shortcuts, kindness over bitterness, fondness. And because of those consistent choices, their identity transforms and their life takes a new direction. On the other hand, there are people who were born into privilege, who had every chance given to them, but because their choices were careless, arrogant, or selfish, they lost everything Lost everything. So chances may open doors, but it is our choices that decide whether we step through them or stay where we are. Life is like a series of crossroads. Each day we are presented with options: honesty or dishonesty, discipline or laziness, gratitude or complaint, faith or fear. And each choice, no matter how small, is like planting a seed. Some seeds grow into a strong tree of success and character, while others wither into regret. The garden of our life depends on the seeds we choose to plant. Even when life gives us difficult chances that look like struggles, losses, or failures, it is our choice that determines what we take out of them. Some choose to see failure as the end, while others choose to see it as a lesson, a stepping stone to something greater. One person may say, "This is unfair, I give up." Another may say, "Oh, this is tough, but I will rise." So the circumstance was the same, but the choice made the identity. And this is what we often forget. Chances are not in our control, but choices always are. We cannot control where we are born, what kind of family we have, or which opportunities knock at our door, but we can control how we respond. The greatest freedom given to us is the freedom of choice. No matter the external situation, we can always choose our attitude, our actions, and our direction. Therefore, if we keep waiting for the perfect chance, life will slip away in waiting. But if we start making the right choices with whatever little we have right now, life will slowly open bigger doors. The truth is simple. It is not the chances that define our future, but the choices we dare to make. One of the greatest battles in life is between what feels now, not what builds strength for the future. Most of us are tempted by the comfort of the present moment. We want quick results, immediate happiness, instant gratification. But the truth is, the easy road rarely leads to lasting fulfillment. It might look smooth, it might feel comfortable, but it often ends in emptiness. On the other hand, the difficult path, the one that demands patience, sacrifice, and effort, is the path that leads to true growth and long-term success. Think about health. It is always easier to eat junk food than to prepare a healthy meal. It is always easier to lie down with a phone in hand than to exercise. The short-term ease gives pleasure for a moment, but the long-term result is fatigue, illness, and regret. On the other side, the choice to exercise, to eat well, and to care for your body is not always easy in the moment. It requires discipline, sweat, and even discomfort. But over time, it builds energy, confidence, and longevity. The difficult road becomes a blessing later. This principle applies to every area of life: studies, career, relationships, even spirituality. For example, a student who chooses to copy answers in exams may feel it's the easy solution. But later in life, that same student may struggle because the habit of avoiding effort robs them of the confidence to face challenges. Another student who studies diligently, who sacrifices entertainment for preparation, may feel discomfort in the short run, but that discipline shapes their character and future. The choice between short-term ease and long-term growth is also seen in relationships. It is easy to avoid difficult conversations, to escape responsibilities, or to blame others when things go wrong. That path may give relief for a moment, but it weakens the bond over time. On the other hand, choosing honesty, patience, forgiveness, and consistent effort may not be easy in the moment. It requires swallowing pride, managing anger, and showing humility. But in the long run, that path builds stronger, deeper, and more meaningful connections. In careers too, shortcuts can seem attractive. Some people choose dishonesty, manipulation, or unethical ways to climb quickly. And yes, it might work for a while, but eventually, shortcuts collapse. The long-term path of integrity, consistency, and genuine hard work may feel slower, but it creates a foundation that can never be shaken. What is gained easily is often lost easily. What is gained through effort lasts. Why do so many people choose short-term ease? Because our mind is wired for comfort. We like immediate satisfaction. But wisdom teaches us to delay gratification, to see beyond the moment. True growth demands we trade a little comfort now for greater rewards later. It asks us to embrace the pain of discipline instead of the pain of regret. Look at a tree. It takes years of being rooted in the soil, facing storms, enduring seasons before it grows tall and bears fruit. If it refused the struggle of growth, it would remain a small plant forever. We are the same. Growth is slow, uncomfortable, and often hidden, but it is the only way to reach our full potential. So every day we must ask ourselves, do I want what feels easy now, or what will make me strong later? Do I want a temporary comfort or a lasting fulfillment? The answer to that question decides whether we remain stagnant or grow into the best version of ourselves. So often in life, we get trapped in the opinions of others. We start to believe that who we are is what people say about us, what they think about us, or how they judge us. And in this constant noise of voices, we sometimes forget the most important truth. It is not people who define us. It is the path we choose to walk on. What others say is temporary, but what we consistently do becomes permanent. Think about this. Today, people may praise you, tomorrow, they may criticize you. Today, they may support you, tomorrow, they may doubt you. If your sense of identity is tied to their words, you will constantly rise and fall like a wave in the ocean. But if your sense of identity is tied to your values, your actions, and your chosen path, then no opinion can shake you. History is full of examples of people who were misunderstood in their time. Many great leaders, thinkers, and creators were criticized, laughed at, or even rejected when they first chose their path. Some were told they would never succeed. Some were ridiculed for dreaming too big. But because they stayed true to their direction, their path eventually defined them. Not the opinions of the crowd. What once seemed foolish became admired, and what once was mocked became celebrated. The truth is, people see only a fragment of your life. They see one action, one mistake, one decision, and they think they know who you are. But identity is not formed in a single moment. It is formed in the journey of walking a path again and again. A person may stumble, but if they keep walking with honesty, growth, and consistency, their path speaks louder than their critics ever could. Think of a sculptor working on a block of stone. At first, people may laugh at the shapeless rock, saying it looks ugly or meaningless. But the sculptor knows the path of patience of chiseling little by little. Over time, the rock transforms into a beautiful statue, and then the same people who doubted begin to admire it. Your life works in the same way. People may judge you too soon, but if your path is steady, the final sculpture of your character will prove them wrong. Even in daily life, we see how easy it is to be swayed by opinion. Young person may want to pursue a career or dream, but fear of what will people say holds them back. A man or woman may want to live with integrity, but peer pressure pushes them toward compromise. But the moment we understand that opinions are temporary shadows, while our path is the real road under our feet, we gain the courage to live authentically. Let people speak. Let them have their opinions. In time, the path you choose will show them who you truly are. Silence speaks through integrity, consistency speaks through action, and the direction you walk will always tell a story far greater than words. So instead of spending your life adjusting yourself to please others, invest your energy in walking the right path. Because at the end, the world may forget what they said about you, but they will always remember what you chose to stand for. Therefore, whether we realize it or not, every step we take leaves a footprint for others to see. Our choices don't exist in isolation. The path we walk becomes an example, a lesson, or even a warning for the people around us. You may think, it's my life, my decisions, my journey. But the truth is, your path silently influences many others. Family, friends, colleagues, even strangers who simply observe you. Children learn more from what parents do than from what parents say. A father may tell his son to be honest, but if the child sees him lying in business, the child absorbs the example, not the advice. The path we choose doesn't just define who we are, it plants seeds in the lives of others. Think of a candle. It doesn't announce anything. It simply burns, and by burning it lights up the room for others. In the same way, when you choose a path of integrity, kindness, discipline, or resilience, you naturally inspire people. Sometimes without even knowing, you become someone's role model. A young person may look at how you worked hard despite struggles and feel encouraged to keep trying. A colleague may see how you remained honest in a tough situation and decide to do the same. Your path becomes their motivation. But influence works both ways. If we choose a path of carelessness, arrogance, or selfishness, others may follow that too. That's why the responsibility of our choices is greater than we think. A single wrong step may not only harm us, but also mislead others. When someone in a position of authority takes a corrupt path, it sets a pattern for those who look up to them. When someone chooses hatred instead of love, it spreads bitterness far beyond their own life. This is why walking the right path matters even more than we realize. Because even when you feel unnoticed, someone is always observing. Maybe your child, maybe a younger sibling, maybe a co-worker who admires you silently. Your courage to choose the higher road gives them courage too. Your consistency in doing the right thing gives them faith that goodness still exists. There's a story of a man who used to walk to his place of worship every morning through heavy snow. His young son would secretly follow, placing his little feet exactly in the footprints left by his father. One day the man looked back and realized the child was following the exact path he walked. That moment changed him because he understood that the direction he chose wasn't just his, it was shaping the life of his son. In the same way, we may not notice, but many are quietly walking in our footprints. So whenever you choose your path, remember, it is bigger than just you. Your honesty may save someone else from dishonesty. Your discipline may encourage someone else to fight laziness. Your kindness may heal someone else's heart. And your courage may give someone else the strength to keep going. Your path is not just your story. It becomes a chapter in the story of others. Integrity is not measured in the moments when the world is watching, but in the moments when no one is there to see. Anyone can appear noble under the spotlight. Anyone can pretend to be honest when there are eyes on them. The real test of character comes in those hidden paths, when choices are made quietly, when there is no applause to gain and no punishment to fear. That is when the truth of who we are is revealed. Consider a student in an examination hall, surrounded by friends, teachers, and supervisors. It is easy to sit upright and appear sincere. But the moment no one is looking, when the temptation to cheat whispers, the choice made in that secret moment reveals integrity more than any public speech about honesty ever could. Integrity means living by your values even when it costs you something, even when no one will ever know what you did. If a shopkeeper returns excess money to a customer because he believes it is right, not because he fears being caught, that is integrity. If an employee stays faithful to their duty when the boss is absent, that is integrity. If a person chooses kindness towards someone who cannot repay them, that is integrity. Hidden choices carve the deepest definition of who we are. There is a story of a king who wanted to find the most trustworthy person in his kingdom. He gave seeds to several men and told them to plant them. After months, he asked them to return with their plants. Some brought back tall trees, others flowers, others fruits. But one man returned with an empty pot, ashamed. When asked, he said, "Your Majesty, I planted the seed, but it never grew." The king smiled because he had given boiled seeds impossible to grow. Every other man had replaced the seed with another to impress the king. The only one who kept his integrity in hidden work was the man who brought the empty pot. And that man was chosen as the most trustworthy. Integrity is not about never being tempted. It is about standing firm when temptation comes. It is about choosing the right thing, even when it feels like no one will ever know. The irony is that hidden paths eventually reveal themselves. The choices we think are secret shape our character, and over time, character always shows in public. If we compromise privately, the cracks will eventually appear. If we remain honest privately, the strength will eventually shine. Integrity also gives peace of mind. When you know you have walked the right path, you sleep without fear. You don't need to look over your shoulder. You don't need to cover lies with more lies. Integrity may cost in the short term. It may mean losing an opportunity, facing difficulty, or sacrificing comfort. But in the long run, it pays with dignity, trust, and inner freedom. So the hidden paths are where true greatness is born. Not on the stage, not in front of the crowd, but in the quiet choices we make when no one is watching. Integrity is not about proving yourself to the world. It is about being true to yourself and your values in silence, Every path that leads upward demands something from us. The higher the road, the greater the sacrifice. In life, nothing truly valuable comes without giving something up. Yet, many of us want success without effort, growth without pain, and reward without responsibility. But that is not how life works. Every great achievement, every noble character, every lasting legacy is built on the foundation of sacrifice. Think of a student who dreams of becoming a doctor. The goal is noble, but the journey is not easy. While others may spend nights in parties or endless entertainment, this student spends nights studying, sacrificing sleep, fun, and even comfort. Those sacrifices seem heavy in the moment, but they pave the way for saving lives in the future. Without sacrifice, that dream would remain only a wish. The same is true for athletes. Behind every medal you see on a stage, there are countless sacrifices, early mornings, painful injuries, strict diets, long hours of training while others relax. People applaud the victory but rarely see the sacrifices that made it possible. The podium is built on discipline, not luck. Sacrifice is also deeply connected to love and relationships. A parent sacrifices sleep to care for a newborn. A husband sacrifices personal desires to support his wife's dreams. A friend sacrifices time to be there in another's need. Love without sacrifice is shallow, but love with sacrifice becomes unshakable. Sacrifice transforms relationships from temporary companionships into bonds of trust and meaning. Even in personal growth, sacrifice plays a vital role. To rise above mediocrity, we must sacrifice laziness, excuses, and distractions. To build character, we must sacrifice ego, pride, and selfishness. To pursue higher values, we must sometimes sacrifice popularity, wealth, or convenience. The truth is simple. Every higher road comes at a cost, and the willingness to pay that cost is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. There's a story of a young monk who wanted wisdom. His teacher gave him a vessel filled with water and asked him to pour honey into it. The monk did as told, but the honey overflowed, spilling everywhere. The teacher said, "Just as this vessel cannot hold honey until you pour out some water, your life cannot hold wisdom until you sacrifice what fills it unnecessarily." Sacrifice is not always about losing. It is about making space for something greater. The beauty of sacrifice is that while it feels like loss at first, it transforms into gain over time. The student gains knowledge. The athlete gains strength. The parent gains the joy of seeing a child grow. The worker who sacrifices comfort gains mastery. What looks like letting go is actually stepping closer to something higher. Of course, sacrifice is not easy. It asks us to give up what is immediate for what is important. It asks us to endure discomfort today for fulfillment tomorrow. But the truth is, life itself is a choice between two pains. The pain of sacrifice or the pain of regret. One pain lasts for a short while, the other lasts for a lifetime. Those who choose sacrifice walk the higher road, and that road leads to greatness. Failure is a word many people fear. But in truth, failure is not the end of the road. It is a signpost, a teacher, a guide pointing us in a new direction. We often see failure as proof of weakness, but in reality, it is often proof that we had the courage to try. Those who never fail are usually those who never are attempting meaningful. Failure is not meant to stop us. It is meant to shape us. Think of a child learning to walk. How many times does the child stumble and fall? Countless times. But each fall is not a defeat. It is a lesson. With every fall, the child learns balance, builds strength, and understands how to walk better. If the child gave up after the first fall, they would never take a step in life. The same principle applies to us as adults. Our failures are not meant to define us. They are meant to refine us. They are meant to refine us. In fact, some of the world's greatest achievements were born out of failure. Famous inventors, scientists, and leaders often faced repeated setbacks before success. They tried, they failed, they learned, and they tried again. Each failure redirected them toward a wiser approach, toward a clearer vision. If they had seen failure as final, the world would never have known their contributions. The truth is, success is often hidden inside a series of failures that teach us what doesn't work until we discover what does. Failure also humbles us. It strips away arrogance and teaches us resilience. When everything goes smoothly, we may become proud and careless. But when we stumble, we are reminded of our limitations, and that reminder makes us stronger. It is in those moments of failure that we discover inner strength, creativity, and determination that comfort alone could never reveal. But here's the important thing: failure only guides us if we are willing to listen. Many people fail and then give up, believing they are not capable. But wise people fail and ask, "What is this teaching me? Where should I go from here?" That shift in perspective transforms failure into a compass rather than a dead end. It becomes a redirection, at rejection, not rejection. Sometimes failure is life's way of protecting us. A closed door may seem like a painful defeat, but it may be steering us away from something harmful or leading us towards something greater. We often realize in hindsight that what we thought was a failure was actually a blessing in disguise. The job we didn't get, the project that collapsed, the plan that didn't work, those failures may have opened space for something far better. Think of a sculptor chiseling a stone. Each strike looks like destruction, but with every chip, the hidden beauty is revealed. In the same way, each failure chips away our illusions, fears, and weaknesses until our true strength begins to appear. Failure is not breaking us, it is shaping us. So when we stumble, instead of asking, why me? We should ask, what next? Because the path of failure is not about staying down. It is about rising with greater wisdom, greater clarity, and greater strength. Every failure, if embraced, becomes a stepping stone toward a wiser direction and a stronger identity. When we look at people who achieve greatness, we often assume they were blessed with extraordinary talent, luck, or resources. But if we look closely, one quality stands out above all others: consistency. It is not the occasional burst of effort, not the rare moment of inspiration, but the steady, repeated action day after day that builds destiny. Consistency may look ordinary in the moment, but over time it produces extraordinary results. Think of water dripping on a stone. A single drop makes no difference. 10 drops make no difference. But when the drops fall again and again for years, even the hardest rock is carved. That is the power of consistency. What cannot be achieved by force can be achieved by persistence. Success is rarely about one grand effort. It is about countless small efforts that add up to transformation. Consider health. Going to the gym once will not change your body. Eating one healthy meal will not transform your life. But exercising regularly, eating wisely every day, and sleeping well consistently over time brings results that no quick fix can match. The same principle applies to knowledge. Reading one page of a book may seem insignificant, but reading consistently for years creates wisdom, clarity, and a sharpened mind. Even in relationships, consistency matters more than occasional gestures. Saying I love you once is easy, buying a gift once is simple. But showing care, respect, and kindness consistently is what builds trust and depth. Relationships thrive not on big promises, but on small, repeated acts of love. The challenge with consistency is that it doesn't give immediate rewards. We live in a world that craves instant results, so when we don't see quick progress, we get discouraged. But consistency works silently, like roots growing beneath the soil. You don't see the roots, but they are building the foundation of a strong tree. And one day, suddenly, the results become visible for all to see. What looks like overnight success is usually years of unseen consistency. There's a story of a man who wanted to split a rock. He struck it once, twice, 100 times, but nothing happened. Nothing happened. On the 101st strike, the rock split open. Was it that last strike alone that broke the rock? No. It was the cumulative power of all the previous strikes. Consistency made the difference. Life works the same way. Every effort counts, even if the results are not visible immediately. Consistency also shapes our character. Each time we choose discipline over laziness, honesty over shortcuts, patience over anger, we are reinforcing a habit. Over time, these habits define who we are. Just as a river shapes its path by flowing steadily, our repeated actions shape the path of our destiny. And the key is to stay steady even when progress feels invisible. A farmer does not dig up seeds every day to check if they are growing. He trusts the process, waters them daily, and waits for the right season. Consistency is faith in action. It is trusting that small steps, repeated with dedication, will eventually lead to big results. So remember, destiny is not built in a single moment of inspiration. It is built in the ordinary choices we repeat every day. Small steps may feel insignificant, but when taken consistently, they carry us to extraordinary heights. Every human being is searching for meaning, whether consciously or unconsciously. We may chase wealth, fame, or comfort, but deep down, what we truly desire is a sense of purpose. Purpose is the compass that gives direction to our journey. Without it, we may walk many paths, but we still feel lost. With it, even the most difficult road feels meaningful. The ultimate path in life is not the one that looks easiest or the one that seems most glamorous, but the one that aligns with our deeper purpose. Think of a bird. It is designed to fly. You can keep it in a golden cage, feed it the finest food, and give it comfort. But it will never be truly happy until it spreads its wings and soars. In the same way, we are not designed merely to survive. We are designed to live with meaning. When our daily choices align with our inner values, we feel alive. when they don't, even success feels empty. Many people achieve outer success but still feel restless. They may have money, position, or recognition, but inside they feel a void. Why? Because their path is not aligned with their purpose. They climbed the ladder, but the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. True fulfillment comes not from reaching the top, but from knowing we are climbing the right ladder. Purpose doesn't always reveal itself in grand visions. Sometimes it whispers in small things, helping others, creating something meaningful, standing up for truth, nurturing relationships. It is found in moments when we feel connected, when our actions resonate with our conscience. The more we listen to that inner voice and align our path with it, the more our life gains clarity. Alignment with purpose also gives strength in struggle. If you are walking a path just for money, the moment difficulties come, you may feel like quitting. But if you are walking a path connected to your purpose, you endure because you know it matters. A teacher who sees teaching as a job may get tired quickly. But a teacher who sees teaching as their purpose will inspire generations. No matter how tough it gets, purpose fuels perseverance. It also brings peace. When you know your path is aligned with something greater than your ego, you stop comparing yourself with others. You don't feel the need to imitate someone else's journey because you know your direction is uniquely yours. A river does not envy the ocean or the lake. It simply flows in its own course, fulfilling its role. In the same way, purpose makes us content with our path. Sometimes, finding purpose means making hard choices. It may mean sacrificing comfort, facing criticism, or leaving behind opportunities that don't resonate with your values. But the reward is a life that feels authentic, meaningful, and fulfilling. A life where every step, no matter how difficult, feels worthwhile. The ultimate path is not measured by how much we gain, but by how deeply it reflects who we truly are. When our choices align with our purpose, we stop merely existing and start truly living. That alignment is what transforms a journey into a legacy.